One note, man. One note. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Kenny Boo at Macquash, Standing Bear, Soda, Tri Fishing Lake, First Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty 4 Territory, Anishinaabe, 60s Scoop Survivor, published author, and welcome to We Are the Medicine Circle, which really implies that we are the Medicine Circle. Really kind of gets me off the hook. I am not in charge of the circle. I'm just not a patriarchy. I'm not a pastor. Get out my flock. It's not any of that. We are actually and this is not a prop, this is medicine. So, when I do that, that was a comment. I love your props. Wait, no, it's medicine. It's help there to guide us and really good. We use it as a place of humility, right? And so a prop, like, I don't know how much humility props are, but I never thought of it that way. But anyway, this is us right here. This is the circle. Again, you know, uh, I am in the service of the Great Spirit, and I'm in the service of this circle, and there's really no other place that I'd rather be. We're getting a lot of new people in the circle. That's why I kind of going over some stuff. So that's why we do that. And most importantly, if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much, and that just simply means that I want you to live a really good, beautiful, powerful life. That connected to all those things that give us life, like air, water, fire, heat, earth, all these things that give us all these beautiful medicines that give us life. In fact, we're going to talk more about that today. And reading, we're going to go over Whispers from the Hollow Bone, um, May 27th. That was a suggestion from you to put that out there a little bit earlier. So we're not doing anything on the last minute. Thank you for that. I just love your suggestions, and we're going to take another one of your suggestions. I want to talk. Um, we're going to do a story. Yeah, there's a repeated story, so we're going to do that instead of the question of the day. We're going to do comment of the day. But before we start, getting a little ahead of myself, I get so excited when we do these things, right? Um, so before we start, we're going to start in the usual way. So let us let us breathe a little bit. Let us light a little shade to help us breathe, to help us connect to all those beautiful things. There we go. There we go. To all these beautiful things that we are part of. Smoke helps us connect to all those things. So, and of course, we want to, and every day we ask for a volunteer. So just give me a little heart, give me a little thumbs up if we can kind of keep this smoke going throughout the entire circle in remembrance for honoring the residential school children who never came home. And I would just quickly just add, for the families too, because the families are still in that still mourning and grieving. So let's send a lot of love out there. It's not we're not historicizing this. This is happening right here, right now. So let's do that in a good, beautiful way. I love you. Thank you for volunteering for doing that. We're gonna begin in the usual way also as well. Um, this is what we do. The old ones say, if it doesn't begin with prayer, then it doesn't begin. If it doesn't begin with spirit, then it doesn't begin. And I would just like to add, if it doesn't begin with offering, then it doesn't begin. So let's begin in a really good and beautiful way. If you would like to offer with us, that would be good. We got a little help from above, a little help from below. And let's just start. We're going to have a really, really beautiful time, really beautiful circle. And then all my relations, Kitchi Manitou, Great Spirit, Creator, Great Mystery, Team Megwitch for our breath, Team Megwitch for our circle, Team Megwitch for our day, Team Megwitch for our life. Thank you. We are grateful for our last breath and we were hopeful for our next. And we live in that place in between. We come here today. We mean no harm in what we do. We come here in a humble way, in a sacred way, in a holy way. We come here to align our thoughts and minds with those things that give us life, that offer us life. Air, water, fire, earth, all these things. Let's just sit with that a second. Just as the birds are singing in the background, let's just give thank you for that. Thank you for that. We give thank you to all those nations, circles, and tribes, especially those nations, circles, and tribes that do not look like the two-legged, like the standing nations, the ones that offer the world breath. We say thank you to the swimming nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the water. To the winged nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the wind and air. To the creepy crawlers and the slitheries, the ones who teach us how to stay close and grounded to Mother Earth. To the four-legged nation circles and tribes, the ones who offer us and teach us so much about our humanity. We say thank you. And of course, to other two-legged nation circles and tribes, we understand that you are our teachers as well. And this makes our ears and our hearts very happy. So we give thank you to those things that give us life, that offer us life. Those spirits, again, water, fire, air, earth. We give thank you to all seven directions because we know life, love, and light come from all directions. We give thank you to those who have come before us, our ancestors. And remember, if they are relatives here, then they are our ancestors over there. So the first eagle, bear, wolf, buffalo, they are all our ancestors. So we come from a million, million, million points of light and love. They have offered this to us. These prayers are there to help us, to guide us, to help us live a good life. And not just for ourselves, but for the next seven generations. And we also acknowledge that some of our two-legged ancestors were hurt, wounded, abused, and traumatized, and they passed that along to us. And we understand this is, we have suffered. We are mourning and grieving. But we acknowledge this. And we acknowledge it's also a time for healing. And during this process, we also acknowledge that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay. But we also acknowledge that their wounds and hurts were not for us to carry, but for us to heal from. Again, not just for ourselves, because that would be selfish. Let's be selfless. When we're selfless, we think of the next seven generations, for we only borrow this earth from our children, and our children are only loaned to us. So we are at the intersection between two unseen worlds. Our ancestors may have left, but they are still here. All these worlds are still right here, right now. So let's act as if they are still right here. Let's use kind words to those in all directions. Let us also acknowledge that our ancestors left us a trail to follow, a well worn trail, one that we can only see with our hearts. And that trail is the beautiful intent to heal and to grow together. If we do not have that intent, then it will be hard to walk this road. The red road, the road of wellness, the road of harmony and balance, the road of all nations, circles, and tribes. And remember, we are indigenous, myself and indigenous brothers and sisters, we do not own this road, but we are stewards of this road, and we offer this road through life. And there are teachings on this road: humility, love, truth, honesty, respect, wisdom, and courage. These are teachings brought to us by the wolf, eagle, buffalo, sabe, bear, beaver, eagle. So let us make good relations with these seen and unseen powerful forces that will lead us to a good life. That place of remembering that we are harmony and balance, the prayer that is within our hearts right now, the sound, the vibration, the heartbeat, that's the sound of harmony and balance. It is from the first prayer at the center of the universe, the first fire that came down into the wombs of our mothers. It gave us that heartbeat, that beautiful fire within. So let us come here and let us break those chains. It doesn't have to be the way it's always been. So we don't have to, when we walk this road, we don't have to do the isms anymore, alcohol isms, codependency isms, or drug isms, or anything like this, violence isms, any other this. Let us come here in one circle, in one prayer, and remember that we are one. Oh, all right. Well, good morning, everyone. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We are worldwide, and which is very exciting. So, we're coming over from Europe. Some of us are in Australia. I don't know if you know that, but people. But yeah, that's just a nice thing to hear. When people say, "Hey, thank you from Australia. Thank you from." We have one from South Africa that comes down here. Really, just beautiful, right? So, yeah, we're like a worldwide like circle, man. It's really cool. So, okay, so a couple of things. I'm just really excited about this story. Thank you for, thank you for, uh, it's a dolphin story too. So, it's one of my favorite stories. So, but anyway, before we begin there's a couple of things, kind of preamble things that we do. Before that, a couple, we do this again. There was a comment yesterday. So let's just reiterate a little bit. So there's four kind of preamble things that we go over, because not all of us, we're all refugees from the colonial world, whether it's Christianity or Catholicism or what. We don't have to be that. We just come over from the colonial world, and that simply, um, we don't label that good or bad. It just is what it is. You know, that world is designed to break us. So if you feel sad, lonely, depressed, drinking, that's what that offers. And again, let's not do the good or bad thing, evil thing like that. That's a more of a colonialism. That's like a heavy energy type thing that we just don't need to engage anymore. Sometimes we need to engage, just mention that it's there, and mention that, hey, look, that's probably not the best medicine for us. You know, sadness medicine, separation, like, you're old, you're rich, you're this, you're black, you're white, you're Catholic, you're this. I'm, I'm not human, I'm Christian type thing. It really breaks us down, right? But over here, we just simply, we sit in the same circle, right? Like if you want to, and so if you're new here, welcome. And we talk about this thing called hollow bones, right? Hollow bones, we understand there's a beautiful flow to life, and it's represented in everything: the sunset, the sunrise, the bees. Um, Comes from all directions, and we want to all seasons, all days. So what we want to do is we want to connect to that. Right? Yeah. We're already connected to it because we're here, we're breathing, we're alive. We're spiritually not connected. So what we do is we recognize it with gratitude. Thank you. we feel that, and we know that we're connected to that. And we're going to talk more about this in the reading today. Again, Whispers from the Hollow Bone, May 27th. So if someone can put that in the feed, thank you. So yeah, so the first thing is we wanted to connect to that. The second thing is that we give prayers, we give life. That means we pray for those things with those things that give us life. Really simple and really something. It's really powerful. It's simple, beautiful, and powerful. And when I say that I love you, it's just simply that's exactly what I'm saying. So let's be hollow bones. Let's connect to that life and then help life out. We're supposed to encourage these kind words. That's how we know when we're really in alignment with those beautiful, powerful life forces. But you know that really connect us all. So anyway, so that's like the longer short version of Hollow Bones. The opening prayer, that was a Hollow Bones prayer. Yeah, that's what that is. Gratitude, that's a great way to connect from saying thank you. We mentioned that the other day. Just at the end of the day, just say thank you. Just thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So okay, so ancestors and elders. So it's really important that we thank those who have come before us. Really paves that beautiful, beautiful. Just gratitude. Hey, thank you for giving us a shot, an opportunity to do this thing called life. What's it feel like when somebody says to you, thank you for the opportunity for life. Right? And really, that's what we're doing when we come here and we just acknowledge that, especially to our indigenous ancestors who held these ceremonies, held these teachings when it was really dangerous to do so. Because a lot of us don't know it was illegal. The crown and the state governments, the federal governments, um, outlawed what we are doing here. Back in the 70s, back in 1951, up here in the provinces, we weren't allowed to even talk about it, right? They hunted us down. So this is a good time for gratitude. It's always a good time. So, thank you to my direct elder, Tony Stonehawk, that would have for 30 years, would not be here. I say that with all the confidence in the world. Tony would not be here more for you. I love you. Thank you for introducing me to the Red Road. And now, Tony, I'm kind of helping, so I finally figured out that it should help others. So, we've been doing this for a little while, but anyway, the thing is, we're talking about gratitude all the time. So thank you to Tony Stonehawk. Okay, circle medicine. No one's in front of us. No one's behind us. No one is above us. No one is below us. That means we're all equal here. And again, this is what that looks like right there. There you go. This is all of us right here. We got a couple people on YouTube. Got a couple people here. YouTube, Facebook here. Um, there we go. That means we're all equal. I know what, that means we're all equal. That means the water, the fire, the rain, the rivers. Yeah, you know, they have that birthright, that beautiful gift of life. Right? So, that's the way it is. Okay, sacred feminine. Okay, so the life givers. We would not be here if it weren't for the life givers. And so it's and we say this because the colonial world does not acknowledge and marginalizes, destroys the life giver. It really does. So we come here and we acknowledge the first thing: you are beautiful, powerful, and sacred. We're right off the rip. That's it, right there. You are beautiful, powerful, and sacred. That's it. Just feel that, right? When we say, I don't know how many other circles, colonial circles say that, right? But over here, we acknowledge it on a daily basis because it's so important that we understand that we hear this because it brings us back to a place of harmony and balance. We just don't do it as a rote routine. It's just, oh yeah, let's act cool, look cool, let's say something cool. No, because once we say it, that's a beautiful intention, right? Beautiful, beautiful intention. And that beautiful intentions brings us back to a place of harmony and balance. And oh my God, yes, right, because it feels right, feels good. So it's like, okay, good, know. And the thing is, when we sit in circle, this is another circle. When we sit in circle, that's when the healing really begins. And that's why we bring up circle. That's why we bring up the elders. That's why it is all related. They're not disjointed at all. What we're really talking about is all the same thing. Right? The hollow bones is the circle. Is the sacred feminine included. The ancestors included. The elders included. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Right? All beautiful, powerful. Sacred. Right? It's really that simple. So that's why we do that. I kind of miss the announcements. I get so excited. Right? I get so excited. So we're just going to jump back a little bit. Um, Couple of announcements, housekeeping announcements. If there is a lag in the connection, in any lag in the audio or visual, somebody gets that spinning wheel up, whatever that is. If I get kicked off or you get kicked off, just know I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to hit that play button. We're going to pick up right where we left off, and we're going to finish out the hour. We Like if you see me look back and forth, because we're this is what I'm doing. These are this is two cameras. I'm looking at two cameras. So if you see me looking back and forth, that's what I'm doing. Um, we are over on YouTube. So some people got a thing with Facebook, and that's okay because we got you covered. We're over there as Standing Bear the author. That's my channel. So there's a library um, information and videos. So if it's a rainy day, you just want to go over there and just hit play, then go ahead play, and um, we welcome you that. So go please like and subscribe over there. Okay, tags. We have a new tag list out there. Um, uh, and sometimes there's a lot of notifications, right? So this is for the Facebooker. So on every post, there's three little dots right here, right? Just hit that. The down is it says turn off notifications, right? Okay. So thank you for that. Okay. So questions, comments of the day. Please keep your questions because there's any comments coming. I'm not going to answer any questions. Love you. But you guys wanted it. So so we're just going to do the story. I was going to kind of wait for tomorrow to do the story, but I just got all excited. So so we crossed out the question. Um, uh, and we're going to do the dolphin story, and we're going to do the dolphin story is not going to take that long, but you know what, the story and the reading, they're really, you know and again, I'm really not that clever that it works out, but it was just like I heard it in the wind say tell this story. So anyway, this is one of my own personal stories. That's where the license is. This is one of my own personal stories. We live a lot of lives, right? We live a lot of lives when we're here, right? I work for uh, for the fire department in Hollywood, Florida. Worked for the fire department for a long time until they decided they didn't want to employ me anymore. So but it was right about that time. Actually, a little bit before that, I was a marathon swimmer, an ocean swimmer, racing. That means we swam in lakes, rivers, oceans, across big lakes, around lakes, up and down, streams, rivers. That kind of, you know. My background was a pool swimmer. I was one of the best high school swimmers coming out of high school back in the late '80s, and Anyway, got involved with Atlantic City Beach Patrol in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Started restarted my swimming career there. Um, and normally ocean training. And there were these mile swims, so they had a series of mile point to point swims, right? So and I was pretty talented at that, right? So occasionally, for the most part, we swam up and down the beach, like we would swim out 200-300 yards, and we swim from Ocean City to Atlantic City or something like that. You know, um, occasionally, occasionally, what my coach at the time, who ended up being my national team coach, U.S. national team coach, he would take like a group of swimmers, and he would take us straight out. So a couple of times, he took us off straight off Atlantic City, not just like 2 or 3 miles, but we're talking like 5 or 6 miles. Right? And if you know anything about Atlantic City, there's a lot of casinos there. So on this particular day, um, there was, I don't know, 5, 6 of us, maybe just call it six. And what he did was he dropped off the slowest swimmer first. So we all got in the same boat, one boat, and then one by one, he would drop us off. I was the fastest swimmer, so I got dropped off last, and we're just going straight out to the ocean, just straight out, and I'm just looking around. Like, I got my goggles, got my swim cap on, I got my goggles on, and it's got going straight out, and the first swimmer jumped off. I'm like, okay, all right, that's second swimmer jumped off, and the idea was that we would all hit the beach at the same time, and that was the idea, and you know, if you remember, the second to last swimmer jumped off, and we went another 5 minutes. We went another 5 minutes straight out, probably 10 minutes, right? We just went and went. It was slow rolling waves, like these huge swells were coming, and just slow going. I'm just we're going and going and going. I'm like, good brother, drop me off, man. Just drop me off. So um, anyway, and this is off the coast of New Jersey, right? So anyway, he dropped me off. He dropped me off, and then the boat had to go back and to check on the first swimmer, which was like 15 minutes ago. So he had to hurry back, find them, check in, like they're okay. And so he dropped me off, and I started swimming. Sighting is like a big deal because you have to know where you're going. So I was kind of looking there for a second. He like disappeared over the waves, and I'm looking at, and this is what you saw. Like the wave would go by like this, like, and then you see like a little peak of the like Caesar's Hotel or Bally's or the Taj Mahal, right? So anyway, I started swimming, right? Started swimming, and the thing about New Jersey water is you can't see this far, right? You can't see this far. It's black, right? So when your hand goes in, it just disappears, right? Disappears. And also, the other thing is it's a food chain thing, right? And I realized, every time I walk and swam in the ocean, that there was a possibility, and there's sharks everywhere up there. As lifeguards, we saw all the time, right? I already know they're out there, right? I already know. People thinking, people ask me, oh, well, are there sharks out there? I'm like, 3, 4 times a day, they're just swimming up and down the ocean, like that. Sometimes they hit something, sometimes they don't, right? So anyway, so I'm swimming, right? You know, and the thing is, like, if you're an ocean fisherman, like you notice, right? You know, um, there's a smell, right? Large fish, little fish, they have like body odor, right? You know, It really permeates the air, right? And so I'm swimming, right? I'm swimming out this, right? I start to smell something. Oh no, oh no, and I'm swimming, and I'm not 5 minutes into this. I'm about 5 minutes into this, and I'm starting to smell something. And I'm just thinking, like, I got that real bad sinking feeling, I'm just swimming, and then off to the right. I remember this is as clear as day. Like there's a swell going by right to, to my right. I'm breathing right, right. There's something there. I see something go like that, right? I go like that. Oh, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh my god, and it was only 20 yards off to my right. It was going kind of like in front of me, kind of like this, right? So it was kind of like going like this, but it was 20 yards off like this. Right? So now I got the smell, and now I see something. So I'm like, okay, and now it's swim a little quicker, right? My best decision was not to breathe on that side anymore. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to breathe on that side, so I'm just going to breathe on this side. So I'm sitting here, breathing on this side. 30 seconds later, I could see it again. I see something like that. Just going like this side, right? About 30 seconds after that, I'm seeing things, I'm feeling things. How like when you're in the water, something swims by you and you feel like that. Well, that's what I felt, right? And I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'3", and 6'3", 220, 225. Right? I'm a big guy. It takes a lot to push me around. Well, what was ever swimming like below me was like pushing like that. And I'm sitting there thinking like I swam into school of hammerheads. I'm thinking, okay, and not too many times I really lived a pretty tough life, right? Pretty tough life, right? And and this is what I said. I said, well, like I had a heart to heart with Creator, and I said, Creator, man, thank you for living. Thank you for allowing me to live for as long as I have, right? You know, Probably a lot longer than I deserved, right? So thank you for that. I'm sober today, and I was really happy about that. My one request to Creator was, you know, like if it's my day to go, I'm going, and I'm going to die doing what I love, right? I love swimming. I love competing. I was really good at it, right? And so I said, well, thank you for this moment. Thank you for this time. Thank you. Like if it's my time, it's my time. And I get that. But the only thing that I ask is that if it's my time, I want to like have that shark come in and bite my head off right away. So it's quick, right? You know, don't have him like bite me below the knee and then have me bleed out for the next, 10 or 15 minutes and just suffer during that whole time. And I'm swimming the whole time, I'm just swimming. I'm just swimming. I'm like, all right, and then that time came, you know, time to die. It's time to die. That's what I thought. I said, okay, I'm good. Creator, I'm good, man. Yeah, that's it. I'm good. You know. So I flipped over on my back and we're just watching it. It was a beautiful day. It was a good day to die. It really was. I'm just sitting here just like, you know, I'm just doing backstroke. I'm just waiting for that. And the smell is there, the water is there. I can feel, like I can feel getting close, right? And I'm just like, okay, just like go ahead and do it, man. Just go ahead and do it. I'm ready for this. Freaking doing Baxter. I'm just doing the Baxter, just waiting. I freaking look over and I see an eyeball about this big. Right? I see an eyeball this big. And it was the first time in my my life I've ever saw the spirit in somebody's eye. And this eyeball said, "Who are you? What are you? What are you doing here?" That's exactly what it said. Right. And I took a look at it and I said, and the eyeball went like this, right? Like we were eyeball to eyeball, like this. I had my goggles on, everything. And it just said, "What are you? What are you doing here?" And it was it was an Atlantic bottlenose dolphin. So it looked and I like flipped over and I kind of stopped real quick, and what was below me were dolphins. And so what they did was they didn't know who I was, what I was. So they sent the big males up first. That's what I saw. They were like, "Who is this guy? Who is this like who is this First Nations guy swimming in like off Atlantic City?" They'd never seen that before, right? So so anyway, I stopped around and then they just started swimming like this. They just started swimming right next to me. And I'm like, all right, it's on now, man. This is on now. So I put on my goggles. I start swimming, right? I start. I'm like, I think I'm going to race, right? So I'm just swimming, and just that beautiful electric feeling that I got. And I can't even words can't even describe. And you know what? After the males came up, like there's a pecking order there, right? I did not know that, but after the pecking, next what was like the males, like the younger males, and then the females, and then the mothers, and right next to me, because I was swimming, they were doing this right next to me. They're coming up, and someone would jump, and someone would this, and I'm just like swimming along, and I'm just swimming now, and I'm swimming. So I had little baby dolphins come up to me like, "What are you, man? What are you doing?" They're looking at me like, you know, like that. And I'm just sitting here swimming like what? But the beautiful, the powerful, you know, um, what a surreal story, And they probably swam with me for probably 30 or 40, like a long time. It wasn't like 5 or 10 minutes. They were just swimming right there next to me, right? And I'm like, good. Well, Sid, my coach, is going to come up and sit and see all these dolphins, right? And you know, so I'm swimming, and as quick as they came, they just like that. I don't know where they went. It's like they weren't even off in the distance, right? It's like they weren't like doing this like way off, like 100 yards, 200 yards, where they just disappeared. I have no idea where they went. I have no idea where they went. But anyway, I'm swimming. I'm feeling like overjoyed, honored. And the cool thing was actually, the cool thing was I knew I wasn't going to get eaten by a shark when the dolphins are around, right? So I felt really safe, right? So no big, white shark is going to come up because they'll kill the shark, right? So so anyway, they came and they left and I'm showing us showing, and then Sid comes up and he has to feed us, right? So there's a little thing. I said, "Coach, hey, said, guess what, man? Guess what? There's all these dolphin here, man." And I'm saying, I'm telling him all this stuff, what I just told you, and he's looking around like nobody here, so nobody here. But I'm like, "No, no, no, you got to understand, no, no." So, so anyway, that's that story. Um, yeah, beautiful, beautiful stories. Um, yeah, just my own personal dolphin story, and able to swim there, and I've thought about that over the years, right? Just thought about that, like what are the chances of me swimming in the ocean, swimming with a pot of dolphins? So anyway, and you know what? We're gonna tell more stories tomorrow. We're not gonna do any readings tomorrow. So tomorrow, so tell all your friends, everybody. We're gonna tell this story, um, another story tomorrow. Probably maybe two or three stories. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out tomorrow. So today, we're finally here at the moment. We're gonna. How much time we got left? All right, man, we're gonna do this. Whispers from the Hollow Bone, May 27th. So, so if we could put that in the feed, that would please and thank you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we were put that in the feed yet. But what we're gonna do here, what we do every day, is we're gonna read this here. Here, this is Whispers from the Hollow Bone. Feel free to go out, purchase your own copy. That way, you have it. People use this as notebooks, right? So, so go ahead and do that. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to read it a couple of times. We're going to kind of move through this pretty quick. Read it a couple of times, develop a general impression. That general impression is not a right or wrong. It's simply a starting point, right? So this is not a time for blame, shame, guilt. Hey, this is what I get from this. But the beautiful thing is that, and this is why we do that, and this is why we talk about it. We grow and we grow together. That's the most important. So we all come from different directions and backgrounds, but the fact is we grow and we grow in understanding, in spirit, and in love together. That's why we're here. Connect to each other with all different backgrounds, all different histories, right? But the beautiful thing, we come into this common ground and what we do every day. We carry all different medicines and we're all different backgrounds and all different traumas and some of us were abused. But the thing is, we all heal together. When the medicine gathers, that's when the magic happens. Right? And so every day, we that's what we do every day. We come and align ourselves with this beautiful thing called life and love. So May 27th, Mother Nature synchronizes our insides with her outsides. This is really powerful. What does that mean? Mother Nature synchronizes our insides with her outsides. Means alignment, right? Right. This is not just anything simple. This is really beautifully, powerfully written, right? Uh, like like one of my predecessors said, it doesn't take a lot of words to tell the truth, right? So we're aligning ourselves with what the truth. And you know what? Let's just the preamble is the seven sacred teachings. That's the preamble because that's what they're talking about. Write that down. Write that down in your notes. This is the seven. What they're referring to, the seven sacred. We're also talking about the medicine wheel, and a particular part about the medicine wheel that we're talking about is spiritual because everything begins with the spirit. That's our starting point. Just like the day we started a day in the East, welcoming back the ancestors with love and gratitude. And those ancestors, part of those ancestors are what? The seen and unseen, humility, love, truth, honesty, wisdom, respect, and courage, right? Right. So we welcome them back, right? Right. Okay. So Mother Nature. Interesting to put Mother Nature instead of Mother Earth, right? That's interesting. Why? Why do you think they did that, right? Remember, these are gifts from the spirit, right? Nature, nurture. I mean, like if I were to take a run or a guess at that, that's what I would say. Nurturing, right? Nurturing. Mother Nature, the sacred feminine, right? Nurturing, gentle, compassion, right? What's different than the male idea of because there's gentleness, there's male gentleness and female gentleness, right? They look a little different, right? So when we say the sacred feminine, that's what they're referring to. That's why it's so important. We're talking about harmony and balance. This is really talking about the first prayer at the center of the universe, right? Um, Harmony and balance, the first fire that ever was. Mother Nature, nurture, Mother Earth, bringing back, aligning ourselves with the sacred feminine, the very thing that gives us life. And the low contrast medicine, this is not what the colonial world ever really teaches us, right? They really teach us that Mother Earth is a resource and not a responsibility, right? So we change that narrative. That's what we're doing. We're changing that narrative into something. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. She's powerful. She's rich. She gives us what life. That's what they're saying. So that they're saying all these beautiful, beautiful things that I want to be a part of, right? And so if I'm feeling sad, lonely, depressed, suicidal, if I'm drinking, if I'm doing all this stuff, well, there's something out there for us, and it happens to me right below our feet, right? This beautiful, this beautiful, beautiful place, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. What? Okay, let's move along. What time is it? Okay, so um, synchronizes. I want you to write next to that, harmonizes, the integration of harmony and balance. That means this gives you the right to be, this gives you the right to be sober, gives you a place to do all this stuff. That means you don't have to be sad anymore. You don't have to be depressed. That means there's a safe place for you. That means there's a place of absolute love for you. You understand? There's a place of absolute love for you. There's a place that understands you, hears you, that wants to help you. All of these things, Mother Earth, has all of these medicines, right? That want to be our allies. Write that down, right? Right? Like there's, you know, we're in like a new studio now where I get to keep the door open, right? And all those birds, I feel so good when, when we are doing our thing and the birds are singing in the background because I think they're just cheering us on, man. I love that. I'm like, good, man. There's a group of people down there. Humanity is not lost. That we are here doing this beautiful thing. We're celebrating their lives, right? You know, just imagine, just and we have to use our imagination here. And Mother Earth is there's a lot of imagination when we use Mother Earth, right? That's the one thing that they really indoctrinate out of us. That teaching that's this beautiful thing called Earth. We're supposed to use our imagination, right? Right. That's what the stars at night. That's the medicine that they bring. Oh, good. Wow, that's powerful. That's some mystical place. Well, not really. That place is right here, right now. We get to use that to what? To connect, to synchronize, to harmonize, to coordinate with what? Life's happiness. I love you. It doesn't have to be. We can break those chains right now, right? And again, we're gonna have to talk about like, the contrast medicine, right? That contrast medicine. And again, write this down. Contrast medicine. We we do not. It's just a healthy discernment. That means we don't label. Write this down. That means we don't label good or bad or evil or anything like that. We don't do it. Like if we do that, we're really bringing in the colonial world to our spiritual realms. We don't really need to do that. We just need to say, "Hey, no, thank you." That's all we need to say. Oh, so this world tells us, because I'm from a different country now. Now I'm a foreigner. Now so we get to treat you different. No, that's just say. So at that point, we just say no, thank you. That's it. No, thank you, Wayne. We think you're this. We think you're that. Okay. No, thank you, and just move aside. Yeah. Yeah, that colonial world, that's what they do all the time, right? The colonials, that's what they do. They label you, they disinformation you, they discredit you. And all you have to say is no thank you. That's all you have to say. That's it. So there's no fight, right? In this reading right here, right? There's no fight. Write that down. Right. It just so it does it so beautifully, so powerful. The deeper teaching behind this is right in front of us is gentleness, right? So if we want to change, right? If we want to change, it says Mother Nature synchronizes our inside with her outside. That's all we have to do. No one has to go to jail. No one has to go to the psychiatrist. No one has to do all that stuff, right? You may have to do that at the very end. I'm not suggesting that there isn't, the spectrum is needed for some people. I'm just suggesting, and this is the lawyer talking to me. I'm just suggesting, let's do this first. Let's sit by the fire first. The fire is the prayer of harmony. That's why we feel so good when it's there. That's why. Nobody tells you that, but here, right? That's why it's mesmerizing because it reminds us of this beautiful, beautiful place already within inside us. What is that? A synchronization, coordinating, our inside with what? Our outside, right? Sitting next to a lake, sitting next to the water, sitting next to, a stream, hearing that sound. You know, that's the sound healing. What's going on there? Well, there's synchronization there where we're, matching the sound outside with what we want to hear inside. I think that's pretty beautiful, right? 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 And we're not even, and you know what? This thing just gets better, right? This here, write this down. All this gets better, right? Right. So there's a proximity thing where, that's really what we're talking about now. But then when we really engage in the singing, the songs, the ceremony, the dances, that's when it really kicks in, right? You know, that's when it really kicks in. And really, again, when we start speaking our language, right? Right, in indigenous language. That's why language was so important because it was synchronizing and coordinating with our intent to what align ourselves with life. Like again, the thing the thing that I always talk about is about indigenous language is so simple, it's so easy. Water. Like we didn't have a name for water, the bee or the bee or something like that, right? Right? But what they're really talking about, there's no translation. What it translates to is flowing harmony. If that is a phrase of synchronization, then I don't know what is. It's not medicine. It's just like, wow, we're drinking flowing harmony. You know, uh, what time is it? Oh, that's just beautiful. Right? It aligns ourselves with the spirit. It aligns our spirit, and our spirit feels better, right? Instead of drinking water, we're drinking flowing harmony. Harmony and balance. The first prayer at the center of the universe comes in water form also. Like this thing gets really beautiful and powerful and dynamic. Man, just like hang on to these just for a second and you will feel better. Next time you drink a glass of water, don't drink the water. Say thank you, flowing harmony. Talk directly to it and drink thank you to flowing harmony. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me money, right? And you know what? That opens up the, and, this gets really powerful, really deep. We're just going to run over. I just decided we're going to run over. So this gets really beautiful, really powerful, really deep. When we enter into that beautiful gratitude agreement, write that down. There's gratitude agreements there. Right, that opens up doors. So we offer that opens up doors. We're grateful that opens up doors. But there's also agreements there. You know, you know, you know, and that agreement is life, that I agree to align myself with you. And once that happens, write this down. Guess what? We start hearing things that we start hearing the ancestors because there's no new water being made, right? So the water, and this is from my brothers and sisters from South America, right? I got to sit with them. In fact, I think I'm going there next year. But yeah, but they're talking about the prayers. They intentfully pray with the water, right? We do it up here, but this is from that intentfully pray with the water. So guess what we're drinking right now? We're drinking their prayers, right? Of life and love. We identify that, we say that intentfully. Absolutely. This is a really good time to absolutely do this, right? Absolutely say thank you. Absolutely say thank you. Right? In the colonial world, probably not a good idea to do any absolutes. Over here in the spiritual world, spiritual realms, if we want to live a good life, then we absolutely have to do some things, right? Again, what's the skin in the game? We have to be grateful. We have to do all this, and like and do like the reverse of that would be entitlement. Like if we don't do that, then the sickness of entitlement comes in. Then the sickness of addiction comes in. Then the addiction of self-soothing behaviors come in, and like all this stuff. But the thing is, once we reverse that, we start saying thank you. We start saying, "Wow, what does this do for me?" Then what? That synchronization, that life comes back. Oh my God, we're happy now. I don't need to be sad anymore. I don't need to be lonely anymore. I can sit here. can sit here and say I love you without any. I just want you to live a really good, happy life. And again, there's some contrast medicine, they can't do that in the colonial world. Because if you say that in the colonial world, there's always some sort of a contractual agreement, an agenda there, right? That takes away any, nurturing intimacy that love really brings. Over here, we reverse that cycle. We change that narrative, right? We become loving, gentle human beings, happy human beings, because of that beautiful synchronization, right? Okay, synchronization hour. Okay, there we are again. Hour. That's so important that they say that. So now they say Mother Nature synchronizes hour. We, us, and our. English again, really bad language. I posted something today on the Facebook feed about that. There was a comedian. He did just look at it. It's a short version of what I talk about all the time. That there's so English is a really bad language. It's a colonial language, but it really benefits those who want to manipulate. Right? It really does. Right? Because it has a lot of meaning. Right? But when they're right, like a broken clock, that's when we jump on it. That's when we use their power. That's when we use their power to benefit us, right? And we, us, and our. That's it, right there. That's it. We, us, and our. That means circle medicine. That means we are all equal. We jump on this, we hold on to it like our life depends on it, because that tells us what? That we are never really truly alone. That one, the ancestors are here. We're drinking the ancestors, we're breathing the ancestors, we're part of this thing called life, hollow bones, we're this thing called happiness, which is really distant and remote over there in that colonial world. But here, because we do a few things, because we sing, because we dance, because we're in close proximity to this thing, you know, then we feel better. It's really that simple. Get me farther. If no one said they love you today, I love you. You see, this is the stuff that I get so passionate about, because it's stuff that brought me back from the brink. Right? Brought me back from the brink. Right? Not just being a city scoop survivor, but living in that world, square peg, round hole, and never fit, right? Like I did the Buddhist thing, I wasn't there. Because the born again Christian, I wasn't there. But when I got over here, and I heard Grandfather Tony talking about this, I'm sitting there thinking, like, that's the only thing in this world that's ever made sense, right? You know, when we sit next to the water, oh my God, I feel better. I feel like I didn't know that. I just knew and I feel it. And they don't tell you that, right? They treat like parks like a resort. Like, oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Let's take a selfie by a tree, right? There's a tree over there. Wow, that's really nice. Like a tree in Brooklyn type thing. It's just really just like, oh my God, there's some water. Wow, let's take a picture of the water, right? No, and to take a picture of it rather than engaging in it. And what over here engage, we have to thank you, we have to do prayer, we have to make offerings. Again, that opens the spiritual door. Everything that we've done here this morning, everything we do every day is something that really connects us to this thing called life. I know I'm getting all fired up, trying to squeeze this all in. Okay, I got 10 seconds left. Okay. So Mother Nature synchronizes our, we, us, and our. That's so powerful. Write that in your, yeah. Just write that in your book. Just we, us, and our. Just make it a notebook, right? Inside. Okay, our insides. Okay. What are they talking about? They're talking about the unseen world. We live in two worlds. We live out there, but we also have an unseen world. We're talking to a guy the other day. He's in like crisis, right? Because his insides, like he's got the bank, he's got a hefty bank account, he's got the cars, he's got the wife, he's got the kids, he's got the dog, but he's miserable inside. I said, brother, man, your insides don't match your outside. You know, that world, it you know, celebrates the outsides. You know, like cosmetic stuff, not the spirit. You know, and I was that guy too. I had the houses, I had the cars, I had the apartments, I had all this stuff, but I was miserable inside because I had no connection with what my insides, and how we connect to the insides is what connect to Mother Nature. That's the way we harmonize. And, it mirrors each other, right? How we feel is a projection and gauges how we mirror our relationship with Mother Earth. That write that down, right? And again, I'm not saying on a psychiatric scale that spectrum that again the lawyer's coming up. So but try this first, right? Try this first. Matches and less colonial behavior. Write that down. Less colonial behavior. But don't let turn off their narrative, right? Turn off their food. There's not a lot of food. So what we put inside, that's part of it too. That's the physical part of the unseen is the food that we eat, right? The food that we eat is really horrible, right? There's really no food in our food. So we have to, we have to change the way we eat. Okay. So our insides. So insides, also talking about emotional and mental. And again, let's not go good or bad. Let's just engage in, hey, uh, I don't want to be this way anymore. Like I don't want to be sad anymore. I don't want to be suicidal. I'm drinking. I'm doing all these other codependency behaviors, like I'm holding people hostage because I don't want to look at myself and I don't want to engage in and I'm stuck, right? Like who out there has felt stuck in this world? I felt really stuck for a long time until I found Grandfather Tony and we started talking about these things. We started doing these things. We started living a really good life. And then 30 years later, here we are, right? Right. What we do here is with that alignment, we save lives, right? That's what we do. And what we do here every day is what the reason why we're here is not for us, but for the next 7 generations, right? That has to be included in that's like the teaching behind the teaching in everything we do with Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is concerned about what the next 7 generations also, right? Which is something that colonial world never talks about. It's always about me, myself, and I. Like, what can I get? Like, now it's not fast enough. The pharmaceutical thing, I don't want to do any work. I just want to take this pill or go someplace or buy something to make me feel better. But really, at the end of the day, we're in constant crisis, right? Constant calamity, right? Right? Constant looking over, for marriage, looking over the other end, like grass is greener, right? Well, no, like if we're doing that, then hey, we have to look inside. We have to do these things for ourselves. It doesn't have to be the way it always is. Okay, inside with her again. Sacred feminine. So what are they saying here? We have to introduce. I'm trying to get this in real quick. So we have to introduce honor the beautiful sacred center, honor the sacred center and what her, right? We are out of balance. So Mother Nature and her, twice. We have to take a look and there's twice there. Okay. So the reason why, and this goes for apps. So this is a question a couple of days ago. I'm a sacred family, but I know she was sacred. Well, what do I do? Well, I get that, right? Because we live in that colonial world that constantly marginalizes you. Their religions, they're self-marginalizing. They are self-marginalized. So if you're like a Christian and some other, or any other, we can take a run at any other of those Abrahamic religions, and you know what? They marginalize the women. Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, that isn't a sacred feminine in sight. Just because they mention it in their book doesn't mean that they honor it, but like it's equal in the same circle over here. We have to honor ourselves as if we are equal, which we are already equal. We don't need to be have permission from the big white guy in the sky, beg him for us to be equal, right? No, you know, just know that you are. Just sit with that water. Just sit in ceremony. Hug that tree. Sit by the water. Absolutely. Be in this place of gratitude, especially, you know, you know, you know. Because the thing was that hey, like I feel like you're always talking to the masculine woman, and this woman just kind of felt like I felt like she was calling me out, but no, 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 no. So the big reset here is equality. Is that if you're feeling less than that, you're probably living in that colonial world, right? That colonial mindset, the inside, right? That mindset. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way. Oh, start singing. There's a woman. couple women in Europe, I've been talking to them saying, you know what, I got a drum, but I can't sing yet. And I'm just, well, you got to get in there and sing, man. You just got to do it, sing as if nobody, just beat that drum. That's the first thing you do, again, that beautiful, well, that beautiful heartbeat, that beautiful place of alignment. And, you know, and I posted something yesterday, right? Those of us that have post traumatic. I posted something yesterday. It was so beautiful, so powerful. The bees, they flutter in what? The key of C, right? This is really beautiful, powerful. And all this medicine is already around us. So this is not just one place, it's multiple overlapping things. Medicine to make us feel aligned. So it's not like we have to go search it out a whole lot. We just have to know it's there and just sit with it. So, sitting next to a hive of, if you have PTSD, and again, look on my Facebook page on the scroll. I think I posted yesterday, did more. But the bees, they flutter in the key of C, which re realigns energetically the sound, the frequency, the vibrations with that place of calm and peace. And really, what we're going to find is once science picks up with everything our indigenous brothers and sisters, our ancestors already knew, is that there's so many medicines out there that align our spirits with this thing called life. Sound healing, right? Speak kindly to each other. I love you. That's a beautiful sound. That's why I say that, because that's not something that I heard all the time. I never heard it, right? Nobody ever comes up to me and says, John Wayne, I love you. Not like growing up, right? Nobody in foster care, nobody in orphanage said, Wayne, I love you. I want you to live a really good life. It's like, they didn't say it, So that's why we, reverse that. That is the sound healing. Sound healing just because you say it with that beautiful, beautiful intent that I want you to live a really good, beautiful life. That's a beautiful intent. That's using, and you know, let's talk about it. We're just gonna run way over it. We're gonna run way over it. So, the inside too, and we have to talk about this. It's this beautiful place of imagination, right? Which is again something that the colonial world takes away. They take away the imagination and then they indoctrinate us into something else to just regurgitate what we read in the book, which is not using our imagination. That's indoctrination. So what we do back over here is we tell stories, right? How many of us went to a beautiful place when we just told that story? And yeah, that's what we're supposed to do, right? Our imagination, what creates what our future. Absolutely, write that down, right? And it's not just the New Agers and the woo-woo people that say that there's something there. Let's take a look at it. That's why at the end of every meditation circle. That's why we play the flute. It isn't for entertainment. It's for you to find that beautiful, peaceful, powerful place that makes you feel loved and aligned. That's why we do that. And it's brought to you not from me, but it's brought to you by what? The Standing Nations. That's what that is. So it's those beautiful dreams of the Standing Nations that come to you when we play that beautiful flute, right? Like if you're sitting there being entertained, then I don't know how much you're going to get out of it. It's like, yeah, that sounds really nice. Well, no, really, what we're supposed to do is reinforce that beautiful place already inside you. But if you're not using your imagination, then I don't know how much you're going to get out of it, right? Yeah, it's kind of like that's the beautiful thing. I love you. Right? We're running way over here. I'm just like, I thought twice about doing that story, but I'm just like. So there's something here. So when we talk, you know, our insides, right? Frequency, vibration, and sound. Light frequencies, sound, all that stuff. That isn't a woo-woo thing. That's already right outside your door. That's what sound frequency, sound healing. That's what the birds are doing. That's what the wind is doing. That's what all these things are doing. Go outside and say thank you and feel. Like that's the big thing. Say thank you. Go out there and say thank you. I feel you. I feel I know you're there because I've never had anybody come to me and said, you know what? I sat by a lake, I sat by the fire, and I felt worse on the way out than I did on the way in. I've never had that happen. Never had that happen. That this is beautiful. But you know what? This gets beautiful and powerful and better every time we say thank you. And we offer something, asking without offering is spiritual stealing. When we receive something, we say thank you. We have to make that offering. That's why we live in full circle. Again, that's another thing that we have to do to for our frequency, our inner world is to say thank you, right? And to make that offering and to know it's there to live in full circle, right? Like if we want to be happy on the outside, then we have to do the work on the inside. The place has to be okay. We're just running. We're just running way over today. I'm sorry about that. I love you. So we're not going to have any announcements today. Just close your eyes, everyone. Just close your eyes. And I want you to picture that beautiful place. And I want your thoughts to be like, thank you. I just want you to think about reaching out to those beautiful sounds that you hear and holding on to those beautiful sounds. That's what I want you to do. That's awkward. I kept it a little bit short. Always the final word is this ceremony may end, but the ceremony in you does not end. So let's what we lived here and learned here, loved here, and listened to here, and take it out there. That means hit more than that share button. That's what that means. To share this and share this everywhere. You're not sharing me, you're sharing the love that flows through us, the real, true hollow bones. Do not make this about me. Make this about us and the spirits, and make this about making this world a better place for the next 7 generations. That means, be kind. That means be the peacemakers, be that place of serenity. Be connected to all those beautiful things. And that's the message. That's the message of light and love that we're looking for. My name is Kanipo Makwan. And if no one said that I love you today, I love you very much. Let's have a great day.